The two bikes here are awesome in every single way, but they're not new, they're not packing the latest features, and they're not aerodynamic, but they do belong to me. And in today's video, I'm going to explain why you should buy bikes like this while you still can and while they're still cheap. The two bikes here are Cannondale Caad 12 aluminium road bikes, and I think every true cycling enthusiast should own a Caad bike at some point in their lives. They are fantastic bikes, light, stiff and great handling, and their values are only set to go up as well. And now I know what you're thinking. I spend an awful lot of time reviewing the latest greatest bikes here on Just Ride Bikes. I love seeing the technology and advances and improvements on the best new road bikes. But I've had a lot of fun buying and owning second-hand bikes over the last 6 months. And these two bikes cost me peanuts compared to any new road bike. And research out earlier this year showed that more people are set to buy second-hand bikes in 2024 than ever before, which is no surprise given the price of new bikes and the bargains we had when you buy a pre-owned bike. So in this video, I'll give you a tour of each bike and we'll go for a spin and see how they ride as well. But before we do that, a message from today's sponsor, Squarespace. Do you need a professional looking website? Well, with Squarespace, it couldn't be any easier or quicker. It's the all-in-one platform to build a website for any business. From an online store to sell cool products, booking courses, classes and memberships, or running your own blog or portfolio. And then there are loads of high quality templates to choose from, an easy drag and drop interface to customize your new website just the way you want it, and all the tools you need to raise your website game, grow your business and improve your online presence. So head over to Squarespace now and start your free trial today, and if you enjoy it, get 10% off your first purchase with my discount code on screen now. Right, let me give you a tour of both bikes and then we'll go for a spin, and we'll start with the red one, the first one I bought last year. This cost me £400, so a bargain. Now, when I bought the bike, it definitely wasn't in showroom condition at all. It needed quite a bit of TLC to bring it back to life and make it rideable. And that's the downside of buying a second-hand bike. It's been hammered and hasn't been looked after if you're unlucky, which I was with this one. Now the frame, as you can see, does have quite a few scrapes and bashes, and the paint on the decals have gone really odd. Never seen that before, but I'm not too worried. To be honest, it's an old bike and a cheap bike, so it doesn't worry me. And I know the frame material is tough. It can take a few bashes and knocks, so I'm not worried about the safety or structural integrity of the frame at all, so I'm fine on that front. It did need some work on the drivetrain. The chain cassette was really rusty and the gear cables were all kind of clogged up, so it needs some work on it to bring it back to life. The chain cassette all cleaned up fairly well. We put some new gear cables and brake cables on, and I put some new brake blocks on and some new tyres and new bar tape, because the bar tape was really disgusting and manky. So I put some new bar tape on, and that's really all I've done. I've kept the same group set. The wheels, although the wheels aren't very nice, they work just fine, so no reason to replace them. They go around and they're straight and true. Got the original brakes, and I changed the saddle as well because the saddle on the bike didn't really work for me. It's more of a comfort issue rather than the saddle not being any good or not. So after that full service, the bike has been running really nicely and riding very well. Honestly, this bike is so good. The ride is fantastic. It would happily embarrass carbon race bikes costing loads more money. Plus, the geometry is the same as a Super 6 Evo carbon race bike, so it handles really well too. Fantastic steering, nice balance, agile, alert, everything you want from a race bike. And the ride quality and comfort is pretty good too. Not as smooth as the best carbon endurance race bikes, and not as harsh as the material is often unfairly labelled. I know aluminium isn't as desirable as carbon fibre. It's lighter, it's more aero, it's more compliant, but the bike still rides really well, and it's not harming my enjoyment of a bike ride today. Definitely putting a smile on my face, it really is. And does have me thinking, why do you need anything more than what a bike offers at this price point. Yes, it's not aero, there's no integration, and it's not the lightest bike in the world, but it's not heavy, and it's not slow, and it still looks really contemporary and modern. What a bike! And for 400 quid too, very happy indeed. And here's the thing, the other reason for buying a bike like the Caad 12 is rim brakes. I know disc brakes are better, not everybody agrees with that statement, I know, but if you like the simplicity, the low weight of rim brakes, then well, you can't buy a new bike these days with rim brakes, so buying a pre-owned, a pre-loved bike like this is the best way to get a bike with rim brakes. And if you live somewhere flat, you don't brake a lot, then arguably why do you need disc brakes? All the extra weight for no real benefit. So buying a bike like this is a great way to get a fantastic rim brake bike while you still can, while the prices are still attainable, and while they're still kind of new enough that you can upgrade the wheels and other parts before standards become an issue. And now to the silver Caad 12, which has disc brakes. So after buying that red bike, I felt the urge to buy another one because I am a fan of disc brakes. So I found this for £500, so an absolute bargain. And this bike was in fairly good condition as well, and in better condition than the red one. The frame is in much better condition, the decals look almost new, fewer scratches and dings on the frame, and the condition of the components were better. The cassette, the chain were much better, the wheels were fine, the tyres were a bit mismatched, so it didn't really need anything doing to it. I could have carried on riding it as it was, but I'm quite keen to demonstrate the possibilities of buying a second-hand bike, a cheap bike like this, and then making some choice upgrades. And yes, I know I went a bit overboard with the bike and went to town with new wheels, tyres, a whole new group set, stem, handlebar, bar tape, saddle. So essentially the only bit that remains from that bike is the frame and fork. So yes, I got a bit carried away, I know, and it cost me a lot more money in the end, but it's just a showcase of what you can do if you want to. But I could have built the bike or upgraded the bike with some cheaper parts, shall we say, kept it more original, maybe put some new wheels on and some new tyres and kept the other parts as it was, and saved myself a lot of money. If I was buying a Caad 12 disc again, I would probably try and buy a slightly later model, which has a newer fork with the internal hose routing, and I think flat mount as well, so that might have been a smarter choice. But when you buy second hand, you sort of have to take what is out there at the time you are searching for a bike, so you can't always, unless you have plenty of time to play the long game, you sort of have to take a punt on a bike when it comes up. So 500 quid, yes, it cost me more in the long run, nearly 2 grand. If you saw my video upgrading the bike, linked above in case you missed it. But how does it ride? Now, I reckon this Caad 12 disc I built up must be one of one. The only Caad 12 with a 12-speed 105 group set on it. There can't be any others like it. Let them know if I'm wrong by dropping a comment down below. And yes, I went overboard with the upgrades on this bike, but it does ride so well and demonstrates how good the frame is, that it can take all the upgrades I put on it, the wheels, the tyres, the handlebars and the group set, a modern group set, and be just fine. The frame is not holding back the performance of the bike at all, and it rides so bloody well. Just a fantastic bike, a good reminder that the Caad 12 and the Caad series generally is a great bike, and also that aluminium shouldn't be overlooked if you want a performance road bike. It really is amazing how well both these bikes ride, considering how little money they cost me, and in the case of the red one, how few upgrades and changes it needed to make it a rideable bike. So yes, you can spend a lot of money on a brand new bike, and they are fantastic. You get a lot of that performance and enjoyment you want from cycling by buying a bike like these, which costs a lot less money. And it shows just how good the Caad 12 is. I have become a bit of a Caad 12 fan in buying these two bikes over the last 6 months. But they are just everything you want from a road bike personified. look great, ride great, and don't cost a lot of money because not a lot of people want them. They want fancy carbon fibre bikes with aerodynamics and integration and all that stuff, and really shows how well the Caad 12 has aged. Just a modern classic. So what are you waiting for? Get on the classifieds, buy yourself a second-hand road bike, save the money for a cycling holiday, and enjoy cycling without spending a load of money on a top-of-the-range bike. It can be done. I've shown it possible. There we go. Very happy indeed. Is there a better two-bike garage? Yeah, probably. But right now, these are perfect. So there we go. Two awesome, pre-owned, pre-loved second-hand road bike bargains, and shows what you can get for very little money, and maybe a few choice upgrades and a bit of TLC where needed. You can go overboard like I did here, or keep it original like I did here, and enjoy your savings, leave that money in your bank balance for a cycling holiday. And hopefully I'll convince you these two bikes are awesome and buying a second-hand bike is a smart thing to do this year. Let me know if you agree or disagree by leaving a comment down below. Big thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring the video. Of course, link to their website down below and that discount code as well. Get yourself a shiny new website this year. And if you want to see a full video on rebuilding a bike with a pro bike mechanic, then do watch the video up here. Maybe consider joining the channel for a small monthly fee. That join button down below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe by hitting that button right there. But that's all today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again very soon.